Look at this droplet of water. It came off a piece of moss. Somewhere in that droplet, right now, in this frame, there is an animal. You cannot see it with the naked eye. It is 0.5 millimeter long and has 8 legs and a face that looks like something went wrong during assembly. It has survived every mass extinction in the last 600 million years. It has been frozen to near absolute zero, boiled alive, fired from a gun, and sent into the naked vacuum of space. It has been bathed in radiation 1,000 times the dose that kills a human being. It came back from all of it, every single time, without being asked. Everything you were taught about survival, adapt or die, the strong outlast the weak, natural selection eliminates the unfit, is a rule that 9 animals on this planet simply never agreed to follow. Scale the damage a tardigrade survives onto a human body. You would need to absorb a nuclear weapon, freeze solid for 30 years, and be fired out of a cannon simultaneously, and walk away. That is not a metaphor. That is the direct conversion of what this animal has already done in controlled laboratory conditions and survived. We are not living in a world where biology has limits. We are living in a world where biology keeps finding loopholes, and certain animals found them hundreds of millions of years before we started looking. There are 9 of them. They are ranked. The last one will change how you think about what a body is allowed to do. And the list gets stranger the deeper you go. 9. The cockroach. 350 million years on Earth. 3 mass extinctions survived before dinosaurs were even a concept. The cockroach's strategy is not strength or speed. It is the refusal to specialize. While every other insect was busy evolving into a niche, the cockroach looked at every niche and decided none of them were worth committing to. It eats anything. It lives anywhere. It can survive a week with no head because its nervous system is distributed. Its body runs on autopilot, while the head is simply gone. Evolution has tried to make it obsolete for 350 million years. The cockroach has not noticed. 8. The scorpion. 430 million years old and essentially unchanged. The scorpion looked at the blueprint that was handed in the Silurian period, decided it was fine, and has been running the same version ever since. It can go a full year without eating. It can be frozen solid, thawed, and resume hunting. It can absorb gamma radiation at levels that liquefy human tissue. And here is the detail that nobody can explain. Every scorpion on Earth, all 2,500 known species, glows blue-green under ultraviolet light. All of them, universally, for reasons science has not yet fully resolved. The most ancient arachnid on land is also secretly fluorescent, and it has never once explained why. 7. The wood frog. Every November, the wood frog dies. Clinically, completely, unambiguously dies. Its heart stops. Blood circulation ends. Ice crystals form inside its organs and its cells. If you picked it up, it would be rigid and cold, and, by every medical definition, a corpse. Then April arrives. The ice melts. The heart restarts. The frog hops away. It has been doing this every year, annually, for its entire life, treating death as a seasonal inconvenience rather than a permanent condition. The mechanism is glucose, flooded into the cells as antifreeze before the freeze hits. Its body does not fight death by cold. It schedules it. 6. The Pompeii worm. It lives inside active hydrothermal vents on the ocean floor, in water that reaches 80 degrees Celsius, hot enough to denature the proteins in most organisms on contact. The Pompeii worm's solution is to outsource the problem. It grows colonies of bacteria along its back that form a living thermal insulation layer, absorbing and dissipating heat before it reaches the worm's actual body. It is, functionally, wearing a coat made of other organisms. The coat is alive. The coat is a survival strategy. The worm did not evolve heat resistance. It hired it. 5. The deviloid rotifer. A microscopic aquatic animal that abandoned sexual reproduction 80 million years ago and has been stealing DNA from its environment ever since. It absorbs genetic material from bacteria, fungi, and plants, incorporates it directly into its own genome, and uses foreign code to solve its own biological problems. It can be completely desiccated, every molecule of water removed from its body, then rehydrated decades later and resume normal function. Researchers pulled betiloid rotifers from 24,000-year-old Siberian permafrost in 2021. The rotifers thawed. The rotifers reproduced. The rotifers did not acknowledge that anything unusual had happened.
4. The immortal jellyfish. Turritopsis dohrnii. When it is injured or starving or simply old, this jellyfish does not die. It reverts. Its adult cells transform back into juvenile cells, a process called transdifferentiation, and it shrinks back to the polyp stage it occupied at the very beginning of its life. Then it grows back into an adult. It can do this indefinitely. There is no known upper limit. It is the only animal on Earth confirmed capable of biological immortality. Not longer life, not slower aging, but a genuine reversal of the life cycle, with no mandatory endpoint. It is not cheating death. It has simply never agreed that death applies to it. 3. The mantis shrimp. Not indestructible in the sense of surviving, indestructible in the sense of what it can do to everything else, which may be worse. Its punch travels at the speed of a bullet. The impact generates a cavitation bubble, collapsing pockets of water that release a shockwave, a flash of light, and temperatures briefly approaching the surface of the sun. It hits so fast that the bubbles strike the target even when the shrimp misses. Its eyes contain 16 types of photoreceptors. Humans have 3. It perceives entire spectrums of color that have never been experienced by a human brain, and therefore do not have names. It is not an animal that evolution refined. It is an animal that evolution assembled specifically to be unreasonable. 2. The planarian flatworm. The math says memory requires a brain. The planarian flatworm disagrees. Cut one in half, and both halves regenerate into complete worms. Cut it into pieces, and every piece becomes a whole worm. A single isolated cell contains enough biological information to reconstruct the entire organism from scratch, including a full nervous system. Scientists have cut planarians into 279 separate fragments. All 279 grew back. Researchers have been doing this for decades, and the worm has never once failed to return. But this is the part that breaks the model entirely. Researchers trained a planarian to navigate a maze. They then decapitated it and waited for the head to fully regenerate. A completely new brain
grown from nothing. Then they tested it in the maze again. The new brain remembered. Memory had survived complete decapitation and full neurological replacement. The information was stored somewhere in a body that technically had no brain. Where it lives, how it persists across total cellular reconstruction, biology does not have an answer for this yet. But the flatworm is not the one that keeps biologists awake. Number 1 is 1. The tardigrade, the water bear. 0.5 millimeter, 8 legs, a face that looks like it was designed by committee and nobody agreed on anything. It has survived all 5 mass extinction events in Earth's history. It has been frozen to within a degree of absolute zero. It has been boiled at 150 degrees Celsius. It has been exposed to the hard vacuum of space with no protection. It has absorbed radiation at 570,000 rads. The human lethal dose is 500. It has been fired from a gun at 900 meters per second. In every single case, it survived. Standard survival models fail completely here. Every framework biology has for predicting what an organism can withstand breaks down when applied to this animal. The mechanism is cryptobiosis. When conditions become lethal, the tardigrade expels 97% of its body water, pulls its legs in, and curls into a structure called a ton. In the ton state, its metabolism drops to 0.01% of normal. Its cells are locked in place by specialized proteins that form a glass-like matrix around every internal structure, organelle, DNA strands, and membrane walls, suspending them in a state that is neither alive nor dead. Biologically, it becomes almost a mineral. It can hold this state for decades. It ends by absorbing water. The most indestructible animal on Earth survived 600 million years of extinction events, so that we could eventually study it long enough to steal its method. It did not evolve that protein for us. It evolved it for itself. But the protein does not care who uses it. Every animal on this list found a rule that everyone else was following and stopped following it. The cockroach stopped specializing. The jellyfish stopped aging. The flatworm stopped treating the brain as the only place memory is allowed to live. The tardigrade stopped treating the boundary between alive and not alive as a fixed line. You are standing on a planet where a 0.5 millimeter animal has already solved problems that the best funded research institutions on Earth are only beginning to ask. Where a flatworm stores memory in cells with no neurons. Where a jellyfish treats death as optional. You are the only thing in this list that looked at all of it and felt something about it. The tardigrade does not know it is indestructible. The jellyfish does not know it is immortal. The flatworm does not know its memory survived. You are the version of life that found out and could not stop thinking about what it means. But if 9 animals rewrote the rules of what a body is allowed to do, what happens when we apply those rules to the one body that knows they exist? Because the tardigrade proteins are already in a laboratory. Human cells have already been coded in them. The suspended state has already been partially replicated outside the animal. The question is no longer whether it is possible. The question is how long before it stops being experimental, and what version of you comes out the other side. The answer is not in biology yet, but it is in the direction biology is pointing.
and it is pointing somewhere the textbooks have not caught up to.